Hi and welcome. Today I'm making an art journal page in my handmade journal. It's made from junk papers, hand painted papers, and I have just a few pages in here that are finished, and I haven't used this book for a long time. And today I want to play with some PanPastels inside. I have used the PanPastels a lot in the past in my sketchbook, and I enjoyed them really much, and today I want to try them to create I would say grungy art journal background. The pages here are some old book paper and also some hand painted paper. I believe I used brushes for this, and in the middle I have some paper tape to hold everything in place. I can't remember how I bound this book. It's been, I believe, 2 years ago. I'm starting with the PanPastels and I'm adding some pigment to the background, and this one I want to blend in with some gesso because I want to cover up the background a little bit as it's pretty busy and I don't like the tape in the middle. I'm using the Liquitex gesso. It's the basic one and it's very fluid and I like it for this technique. My brush is a little bit stiff because I believe I forgot to wash it. I often forget to wash my brushes, or I forget them in the water. Not sure if this is also happening to you. I got just a light blue background with the pigments I've used. I really enjoy that the PanPastels are so versatile. My layer is dry and I'm coming back in with more pigment, and this time I don't wanna have it so light. I want to have an intense color, and this time I'm mixing the pigment with gel medium. I'm using a fluid matte medium. I believe it's also the Liquitex one I'm going to use. I really like the texture you can get with the PanPastels mixed with these different mediums. Of course, this is a page where you have a lot of drying time in between, so it's perfect when you have not much time to create and just have a few minutes. Then you can add the next layer, and later when it's dry you can add another layer. Of course, you could dry this with your heat tool too if you want to finish it up in one session. After this is dry, I'm coming back in with water and the PanPastels, and here I just use a wet brush and I directly go into the pans and paint all over my page. Well, not all over, but in some areas, and here you get a really nice granulating effect. It does not affect the pens in a negative way. You just have to let those dry open before you close the lids. I'm doing the same with the red oxide color. And building up all those layers creates a really interesting background with depth, and I so enjoy playing with them. I have the PanPastels for years in my stash, and in the beginning I bought them because there were these die-cut flowers that were brought out by Sizzix, and they colored the leaves of and the petals of the flowers with PanPastels, and I loved this technique. And then I got a bunch of PanPastels, and truly I never made one of those flowers. I have a lot of their dies but never used them. And then I almost stopped using the pastels until I learned a bit more about sketchbooking and stuff on some nice Patreon channels from Emma Carlisle and Sarah Dyer. And then I started using them again a lot, and now I really enjoy them. Everything is dry, and I come back in with the PanPastels in their dry form. I think usually they are used in this way, only in this way. And here I'm using the Versamark stamp pad. Mine is a bit gray, it should be white of course. And I'm stamping just randomly some background images, and the Versamark will catch the pigments of the PanPastels, and then you will get a little bit of that texture from the stamps in the background, and that looks really interesting. It's a bit difficult to stamp in this bulky book. Now I have to find where I got those stamped images, and I'm not sure if it is visible in the video that the stamps are just coming through a little bit with the pigments. You can use this technique with the Versamark and the PanPastels also perfectly for card making. For example, you can stamp an image with Versamark onto your background and then add a layer of PanPastels. And what works really nice are the metallic ones with the Versamark. I think that's similar to the technique with the Perfect Pearls from Ranger. Here you can see the stamp image a little bit better, I think. You can use different ways to apply the PanPastels. Here I'm using my fingers. That's not the best way, I would say. It just adds a little bit of pigment here and there. Great are their tools, I would say, but what also works perfect are some makeup sponges. I don't know if you can see the metallic sheen. I'm using the bronze color, or is it copper? I can't remember which one I've used. And here you can also see how the pigments get caught by the stamp impression with the Versamark. I will now spray everything with a fixative. I'm adding 2 layers, and I'm using this fixative to make sure that the pigments won't come off, and that works pretty nice. There's almost nothing on my finger. Now I am going in with some background stamping to create that grungy look I want to have. And here I'm just placing something underneath my book to make it more stable for stamping. The stamps I'm using are from the Mixed Media Marks #1 stamp set, and I just used them as they are here to create a little bit of texture on the background. I don't want to have a perfect grid impression. I just want to have those grid texture shining through. I'm also using that number stamp, but there is some paint on it that I have to clean first. And I just use black ink today because I want to have that grungy look. I always use the stamp a few times to get different shades of the color. Everything is, I would say, a little bit in the same color range, and I want to have some white space to get a higher contrast. So I'm using some heavy white gesso, and I will apply it with a palette knife. The heavy gesso is more of a paste, and it gives you a thicker and more opaque layer. I really like the texture you get with the palette knife. I'm very carefully not to cover up a lot, and also to leave these spots where I have no gesso. I don't want to get an even white surface. While this is drying, I want to prepare kind of a main image, and I want to paint some leaves. And I'm using the pretty excellent watercolors. I got them for free, sent by Paul Rubens to try them out and to make a review video, which will come soon, maybe on Wednesday this week. I'm not sure when. I took this with me to our holidays, and I tried them and used them on a few pieces, and I really enjoyed these watercolors. They are super pretty, and they are not chalky, they are transparent, and they are really easy to reactivate. And this box also comes with 12 metallic paints, which I think is really nice, especially when you are on vacation and you can take this box with you. In the past, I always recommended Van Gogh watercolors for beginners if you don't have any, but this is also a box I would recommend. A lot of watercolors on Amazon are really bad quality. They are chalky and milky and not very pigmented, but these are really nice to use, and they are from the same manufacturer that makes the Paul Rubens paints. I'm using a very big brush to create my leaves here because I want to have kind of a chunky piece so that it fits my art journal page. And I'm using kind of a red brownish color that is also matching my background. While the sleeves are still wet, I want to go in with another color to get a more interesting piece, and I'm deciding to use the core colors for this. Well, I will use one core color. The core colors are from Golden and they are very high flow, so the pigments will push away the other pigments that are already on the paper, and that's really nice. That gives you really interesting effects. If I have too much water and paint on my paper, I just dry the brush and then I soak that up. I decided to bring in another color to create kind of a shadow on the leaf. I will let this dry now and then I will come back and finish up my page. I plan to add the sleeve to the left side of my spread, and I found this stamped tissue paper and I thought it might be nice to put it on the right side. It's kind of a, I would say, design element, and I really like the torn edge, so I will just tear the paper and then I will adhere a strip to the right side. I've used one of the Pencil Marks stamps to cover this tissue, just with some black stamping ink, and I really like those papers for collaging. I'm going to adhere this strip with my glue stick. I always use the Tombow glue stick for collages because I think it works the best. It does not give you a thick layer of glue and the paper does not buckle, and you also have some time to reposition your pieces. Well, I'm not sure if this will work with the tissue as it's super thin, but with normal paper that works really nice. And I never had a piece of paper that felt off my page or my artwork. I will cut off the overlapping edges of the tissue. In the end cards, I will link up a playlist where I have made more pages in these books. So if you're interested in these kind of junky art journal books, then you can check this playlist out. I think I need some splatters on the background, and I want to have some white and some black splatters, and therefore I'm using just acrylic inks. While the splatters are drying, I am going to finish up my main image. I'm using a Posca paint pen to draw some veins onto the leaves. To finish up my spread, I want to add a word with my stamped letters, and I am not sure at this stage which word I want to spell, and I need some more letters, so I'm going to stamp them. These are made with the Alphabet Uno stamp set, and I stamped them to jelly prints, and this is what I'm going to do right now. I add some more letters. I will link up all the stamp sets I've been using today in the video description. There you will also find a link to my blog post where you can have a look at the close-up images of the page. I've cut out the leaf, and to adhere it, I'm using just some craft glue. I decided to spell the word grow because I think it matches the botanical element, and I also used the glue to adhere the letters. To finish everything up, I'm adhering the word hope underneath the leafy element. I hope you enjoyed this video today and you are a little bit inspired to create something in your art journal. I wish you a wonderful weekend. Bye!